Hey, movie peeps. Thank you for watching Nibbles and Flix, the podcast where snacks meet cinema. I'm your host, Jeff Fried, and in this video, we're going to be munching on the new Sam Raimi movie, Send Help. Have you seen the movie yet? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And also give us a like on the video so we get more eyes on the video. Also subscribe to the channel so you're notified when we upload new content on the channel. And let us now talk about this movie, this crazy bonkers movie to where you just never want to be that jackass boss because you never know when you're going to need your employees' help.
I have to admit, at first I didn't think you were the best boss.
I'm the boss.
I know.
Linda Liddle, played by Rachel McAdams, is mistreated by her sexist boss, Bradley Preston, played by Dylan O'Brien, whose father wanted him to promote her handing the company to him. But instead, he invites her to prove herself on a trip to Bangkok for a company merger. The situation changes when a plane crashes during a storm, which strands them on this desert island, desperate to fight for survival as tensions rise between them. So this movie is a psychological thriller, and it has comedy and horror elements to it. And it's like a bait and switch when it comes to our main characters that has like some Castaway vibes to it. So the movie starts off introducing us to our main characters. First, we start off with Linda, and she's a out-of-touch employee at her company. She works in the planning and strategy department, and she worked tirelessly just to be one of the best workers at her firm. And she's due for promotion, but unfortunately, she gets mistreated and treated as an outcast at her firm by her coworkers and bosses, to the point where they just make fun of her, even in her face sometimes. And it gets to the point where she just wants to be a part of the team and get respect from the higher ups in order to be looked at as a valuable asset at the company. Then we meet Bradley, who's like the new owner and boss of the company, and he's supposed to be running the company just like his father and give Linda her promotion, but he has other ideas that he wants to do for the company and doesn't really think Linda fits up to the bill of what he thinks who should be like a VP or a manager for the company. So he actually gives her opportunity to come on this trip in order to do that. But he comes off as a really big douchebag and someone that you know that even if Linda does her absolute best, really at the end of the day, give her a promotion? Probably not, because he's an asshole and he really wants to do what he wants to do for the company. The good about this film, it goes full Sam Raimi, but in a good way, where it has like this Castaway vibes to it, but in his style. So you have this high octane kinetic energy that blends like dark humor, the thrills, and has a horror element as well. And I thought all three acts did a good job showing what these characters are going through on this wild journey. The movie focuses a lot on character development. The story starts where you understand where these characters are when you first meet them, and then to the point where they are stranded on this island. The story is a structure of a bait and switch. So it starts off with Bradley being a jerk towards Linda, but then it becomes a survival mode type of film where you start seeing the characters shift very slowly to other sides. The tense moments are really good in this film and hilarious at certain times, but it builds up these dramatic moments where the stakes feel very high. The humor in this movie is really good, and with Sam Raimi movies, sometimes the humor can go a little silly, but I feel like it works here in this movie. The humor in this movie is witty, silly, and have really dark moments. And I think they were used very effectively and creatively when it comes to certain scenes in this film. There are plenty of times in this movie where I was just laughing out loud, and even the audience I went to watch this movie with was laughing along. And I thought that was something that was really good part of this film. It kept everybody engaged with the humor, especially with all this high stakes and craziness that's going on. It does a great job making it very lighthearted and fun. The horror in this film has a great touch as well, and it does have a little element of humor in it in some of the scenes. And the jump scares and the creepy moments are very effective. And there's some really gory and gross moments in this film.
That is disgusting. It's completely uncalled for.
Which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So if you don't like blood and snot, there's some scenes that you man, it could get gross in this film. But they've done it in a way to where it's funny and it comes off to where it is not too silly. Like it is a silly moment that what's going on, but the stakes of that part of the scene actually makes sense and it goes along with the story very well. And especially there's a scene with this pig, and it is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Also, another one when another character was trying to leave the island. I thought that was hilarious too. Those scenes are very funny and also has a very creepy moment as well. But it's done very effectively, and it is done to the way where it's very enjoyable to watch those scenes. And I just feel like that throughout the whole entire film. The performance in this film is really good. I just love how Rachel McAdams play Linda in this film. She's very quirky, she's sweet, and she knows way too much about survival and living out in the wild and all this stuff. And, she loves it a little bit too much. And then also you got Dylan O'Brien playing Bradley, who is just this rich, pompous jackass, spoiled brat. Just wants to do what he wants to do, but he's absolutely worthless in a while because he's never done anything because everything's handed to him. So it's cool to see those dynamics of these two characters together. And I thought they just did a great job playing off each other. And they really make the film very good because it doesn't matter what situation they're in. If it's a tense or funny moment, they do a great job building those moments to where it's absolutely fun watching them. The bad. So the bad about this film, if you don't like Sam Raimi's movies, you don't like the silliness that he can do sometimes, this movie may not work with you. This movie does get silly at some times. I like it, but I can see some viewers having some issues with it because the movie does take some wild swings at this movie when it comes to trying to make a story where you have two people who are stranded on an island. You have to take some swings in order to keep it entertaining, and which this film does that. So some of the stuff, it could be looked at as a little too silly at times, but I thought it was a very good way of just trying to keep you entertained throughout this film. And I thought the things that we're doing were extreme. Like I said, when it comes to Sam Raimi movies, it's kinetic energy, it's very chaotic and all that stuff. He does that here. But I thought everything actually worked. But like I said before, if you think some things are just not working because you don't like how the humor is or some of the, kind of what the characters are doing, I can understand that. But for me, it worked, and that's why I enjoyed the film. But I can see other people, having a little tough time watching this film. And
Prepared to pursue my line of inquiry any further, as I think this is getting too silly.
Quite agree. Silly.
And the end of the film felt a little rushed, and I just wasn't a fan of it. Doesn't ruin my experience at all with the movie. I still enjoyed this film a lot. But I just wanted a little bit more, especially with how they were taking big swings in this movie, and I thought that they were doing a good job landing on those big swings. I just felt like they played it really safe at the end. I just wish we got it more, especially the last act of the film. I thought we should have got more when it came to that. But, it is what it is. Maybe they had to cut time for runtime for the studios and, certain things like that. So maybe that's why. But yeah, overall, it doesn't really ruin my experience. I just want a little bit more fun. The fun score and the snack worthiness of this film, I have to give it 4.5 snacks out of 5. Overall, I really like this film a lot. I had a lot of fun watching this film. I think it has really good rewatchability as well. Definitely enjoy some nibbles with this film. If you get past the gross elements of this film, if not, you've been warned. But yeah, I think this is a good movie to watch in the movie theaters. I highly recommend go and see it when it comes out in the theaters this week. We will be doing some more content and dropping it on the channel later this week. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you get notified for the new content on the channel. And until then, like I said, I appreciate you watching the video, and keep munching, keep watching good or bad movies, but always keep it real. And I'll see you next video. Take care and goodbye.